In realms long forgotten, there are tales of the Forest Kingdom, a place of honour and chivalry, known to some as the Land of the Purple Dragon, but known to all as Cormyr.
Hi, I'm Tilda, and I'm playing Hiram, a half-orc paladin.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Catcher Donahue, human bard.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Badger, a forest gnome monk.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Balthazar, a Warforged Cloak of Azuth.
Hi, my name is Al, and I'm playing Slate, a changeling druid.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Zombo, who is a halfling rogue/warlock.
And my name is Dan. I shall be the Dungeon Master on this adventure. Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing today?
Pretty good, thank you.
All right,
Yeah, well, thanks.
Very
Wonderful.
awake.
Thank you for coming back for another week. I really appreciate it.
Wait, we have a
and-
choice?
Well,
Thought about
it's
it.
kind of in your contract that you have to be here on pain of death, but, you know,
Wait, you guys have a contract?
you guys are getting paid? But yes, no, thank you all for tuning in. Unfortunately, this week we do not have an L with us, but I'm sure that we can create all sorts of chaos and carnage in other ways. So, without further ado, would you all like to jump straight into session 17?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
We resume our adventure within the cursed town of Wheloon, once a bustling trade hub turned prison colony, now a town struggling to recover from its dark past. Brought here in search of clues on the whereabouts of the artifacts sought by King Ezered, the Warhounds have spread themselves across the city, in the shrine of Selune, in the poverty-stricken streets to the south, and the family home of the Cobblesons, Magnus's parents. The party discovered Wheloon's newly established distrust of religious figures and of the dire straits that the civil war seems to be placing on its citizens. In a twist of bad luck, the separate groups of warhounds found themselves assaulted by nightmarish, malformed creatures, seeming embodiments of despair, anguish, and rage. Having fended off the attack, the warhounds may have more questions than they began with, but hopefully these can be answered by the friendly War Wizard and Purple Dragon Patrol that has just arrived at the Shrine of Selune to help.
Sure. Yeah. All war wizards are nice, aren't they?
Yeah.
All War Wizards, absolutely.
That
And
they
we
fake
get
their
on-
death and lie to their parents.
So, as you feel the heaving of your chest under your breath, Hiram, as the light from Slate's moonbeam dissipates, you hear a voice shout out, a heavy female voice shout out from the front door, "What's going on in there?" And yes, as you look out, you spy two purple dragons. One of the purple dragons, a heavy-set woman, has taken a step forward. She appears to be the one that shouted out. They are in a readied position, shields up, swords drawn, looking around the temple. They can see the door is partially smashed off its hinges by the two-headed creature that barreled in a few minutes ago. But behind them, you happen to spy a war wizard in a heavy brown hooded coat. The war wizard is kind of peering in over the shoulders of the purple dragons, just kind of looking left or right, and he sort of like seeing that everything looks okay. He places a hand on the shoulder of one of the purple dragons and ascends the stairs into the shrine. Looking around at, his eyes fall on the fountain in the middle of the shrine, and he says, "Is everything all right?"
Does Kaylin look like she is going to answer, or?
So Kaylin, the priestess, it's like she's still on the floor, with Ameline's, placed her hands on her to help her up, having just administered some medicine, like some first aid, and the priestess slowly kind of is lifted to her feet, aided by the war wizard, and she nods and yes, she like holds her hands to the back of her head. I took a bit of a knock. There was some rowdy teenagers. You know how it is, she says. And then as she kind of strokes the back of her head, she kind of turns and gives you and gives Hiram and Slate kind of the side eye. There's a distinct kind of play along face on this priestess.
At which point I assume Slate definitely gonna ham it up with the, oh yeah, these teenagers. Youngsters these days.
Yes.
No manners whatsoever.
Yeah. Ameline kind of bursts out into a she kind of picks up the story and runs with it. Oh, you know how kids are these days. They're just destructive forces of nature, aren't they? I mean, I blame the parents, honestly. I think it's all down to them. I mean, if they just had a firmer grip on their children, then perhaps the world would be a better place and they wouldn't be going around kicking open the doors of shrines. It's just so terrible.
Yeah, while this is
She-
happening, Hiram is nodding along and slowly but surely making Emily hide her crossbow.
So, as you... Okay, tell you what. Mr. Hiram, could I have... where are you? There you are. Let's go for... Because I know you're really good at these. Let's go for a sleight of hand.
Oh, yeah, I am fantastic
As you
at that.
discreetly try to...
I know, it's an 11.
Okay. So, as you gently try to, you place your hand in front of the crossbow and try to scoop the crossbow and Emily kind of behind you under your cloak almost, you notice the war wizard look over, and it's clear he's noticed that Emily has a crossbow out. And he walks over and kind of kneels down in front of Emily, and there's like a smile on his face as he says, I see that you helped see them off, did you? And Emily just kind of Emily deadpan stares him and then just kind of looks up to you, Hiram, looks back to the wizard, and then she just does a shrug of the shoulder. She just looks a bit proud as she just kind of wipes a bit of fluff off the end of her crossbow. And the war wizard stands and turns to you, Hiram, kind of looking up to you slightly, and he offers a gloved hand out. Aiden Elberth.
Nice to meet you. My name is Hiram, and I shake his hand.
And the sort of there's it's a good firm handshake. And Aiden kind of looks around, and the purple dragons have come in. You notice that a second war wizard has followed in behind them, wearing a similar long brown cloak and hood.
Great. Yeah, come on in.
And Aiden turns to you and Slate, Hiram, and I can't say that I recognise your face, so I assume you're new to Wheloon. I apologise if there's been any disruption to your day. Wheloon is a struggling city, I'm afraid. A struggling town, I'm afraid.
Oh, not at all. We had lovely conversations, some even better wine. I mean, teenagers are teenagers everywhere.
And he nods. Hiram, out of the corner of your eye, you notice that the second war wizard that's come in is kind of looking around, and he pulls out his spell book. He flips a couple of pages. He stops on a page, and then you hear him kind of murmuring something to himself. And as he does, he finishes. You feel that kind of as the spell is cast, and you notice that the war wizard's eyes are now kind of glowing a bright kind of electric blue. He begins looking around the shrine, and you notice that Kaelin is shuffling slightly awkwardly on the spot. Aiden notices you looking over, and don't mind him. It's just a cursory, precautionary measure.
I see. Well, actually, now that you are all here, as you have noticed, we are new to town. I was
Yes.
wondering if there's anything that we need to know.
Aiden holds your eye for a moment, and then, as I say, Wheloon is a city that is struggling. The civil war is certainly taking its toll on the population. Many of the able-bodied, many of the fighting fit citizens of the town have been drafted into conscription to help in the war against Raedra. What's left, unfortunately, are the dregs of society, to mingle with those that would struggle to defend themselves against such ne'er-do-wells. I wouldn't suggest the further south you go, the riskier it gets, so if you are visiting, I would suggest trying to steer clear of the southern district. It's an adventure down there, to be sure.
We'll keep that in mind. Although we are adventurers, it's kind of what we are looking for.
I see. As an aside, who is in your chat room right now? Your telepathic bond chat room.
Everyone,
who
I
is-
hope.
We all are, aren't we? Aren't we all in one group?
Whole group.
Okay, so bear in mind with the bond, no one can hear what you're saying, but if you think something,
Oh no, Hiram
I'll be
is
able to-
telepathically, broadcasting, "Hey, war wizards and purple dragons."
okay. Yeah, so Aiden continues. We're doing well, given Wheloon's troubled history, we're doing what we can to ensure the safety of the civilians. I fear it's a bit of an uphill struggle, but we're doing the best we can. The amount of disturbances throughout Wheloon appear to be growing with every day, which is troubling, I suppose, but hopefully all this trouble with Raedra will come to an end soon. The normal guards and other townsfolk will return home to their loved ones, and life can begin to become back to some sort of sense of normality.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not gonna last too long.
Aiden smiles, but it's like a forlorn smile. And as the conversation lulls ever so slightly, Katya, Balthazar, Zumbo, well, Katya specifically, you hear like a bit of a panicked sobbing coming from the bedroom.
Katya pokes her head round the door. Mr. and Mrs. Cobbleson?
The two, the cobbler and the seamstress kind of look up. They're kind of in the corner of the bedroom, like hiding behind the bed, kind of cowering, and seeing you poke your head in. Sylvia kind of looks up and, is it gone? She said.
So yes, my friends were able to drive it off, so it's all safe now. Sorry to have caused this disruption in your business.
And they kind of look at you and, well, yeah, they kind of look at one another. They look at you and then they slowly start standing up. Balthazar and Zumbo, you hear a knocking on the door.
Hello?
It's not the door. The door's open, but it's like they're still knocked on the door regardless. And as you peer around, you can see that outside are two war wizards in heavy brown hooded cloaks.
Hey, come on in. Quick.
And they step in, and one of them is a relatively tall man with a neatly trimmed dark brown beard, and there is a stern-looking woman with sharp, piercing, kind of silver eyes. That just her eyes appear to be flitting across the room from left to right. And the male war wizard says, "We were passing and heard a disturbance.
Yeah.
Is everything all right in here?
Well, there was...
Mr. Cobbleson, Mrs. Cobbleson."
They're just in this room at the moment.
There was...
They're a little shaken up.
There was a monster. There was a creature. It was just around here. Oh, I think it might be gone now.
So
what was it gone?
As the Cobblesons kind of rear into view, they, like, you see the male war wizard kind of tilts his chin up and, "Mr. and Mrs. Cobbleson, are you all right? Are these adventurers speaking truthfully?" And the two old people, the Magnus' parents, just, "Oh, yeah," and they begin kind of nodding, and then they start kind of chittering and jabbering to one another as they start to try and verbally process their thoughts after everything that's happened. And Zumbo, is your tentacle still in under the stairs?
No, as soon as the shadow creature went down, Betty would have dropped it.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, the male war wizard steps into the room, kind of looks at you all, like he's studying you. Zumbo, Katya, Balthazar, you notice that the female war wizard pulls out a spell book, flicks it to a specific page, sees it, and begins mumbling to herself. And there's a of energy as the spell is cast.
Do I recognize the spell?
You recognize, as her eyes illuminate, that she has cast Detect Magic.
Oh, okay.
And this war wizard appears to be looking around. Like, she scans the room, and then her eyes, she looks to you all in turn, but then it's when her eyes land on you, Balthazar, that when she peers up to you, you hear her verbally say, "Interesting."
I'm a golem.
No, he's joking. He's a devotee of Helm. It's a oath he had to make. He's been magically bound into his armor until he has completed his task. And in the chat room, she's like, "Play along."
Nod.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The female war wizard kind of looks to you, Katya, as you say it, And like you feel like your head's being drilled into as she's got such an intense stare, and like jerky head movements make it look like you're being preyed on. But then her head switches back to Balthazar and she nods, like her facial expression softens slightly, and that's a worthy and noble cause, Sir Knight, she says.
Thank you. May help guide you.
She smiles, and nods. So, says the male war wizard, care to explain what transpired here?
Well, we were. Sorry, Conrad.
Well, I doubt the Cobblesons were feeling feisty enough to trash their own cobble shop.
Yeah, well, we were just, minding our own business, getting some feet/shoes made, and this bleeding shadow creature jumps out of the dark, doesn't it? So horrible screaming sound.
Yeah.
What kind of city are you running here?
Does this normally happen?
You see the war wizard, the male war wizard looking at you, Zumbo. When you say shadow creature, like you see an eyebrow raise, and he turns to his companion, who, like, she nods, like with her glowing blue eyes, and then the man turns back to you. We're doing everything we can to ensure the safety of the citizens of Wheloon, and it would seem that we have you to thank for your timely intervention in protecting these two stalwart citizens of the city of the town.
Yeah, if you know what caused this mayhem or where that thing came from, you point us in the right direction, we'll sort it out for you. We're pretty handy, as you can see from the fact we dealt with that one.
The wizards look at one another, they nod, and, well, interesting you should ask. Do you have any plans for the rest of the day? There is some war wizard business that we mean to attend to, and we would be very much appreciative if you were to accompany us. Perhaps adventurers of such prowess as yourselves could be very handy with what we have planned.
Need to collect the rest of our allies first, and
you have other allies, even better.
Yeah, I mean we're the cream of the crop, but there's others too that are.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah, not as good as us, but
we're the A team.
They'll do.
Yeah.
Okay, so the two wizards, like the female war wizard, you notice her eyes kind of deluminate, and they go back to her kind of very white, pale, silvery eyes. It's settled then, she says. Unless you have any further business with the Cobblesons, if you could please accompany us. The Cobbleson, Rupert Cobbleson kind of pokes his head out and he looks to you, Zumbo, and if you want to leave me that sturdy bit of wood that you've got, I'll see what I can make out of it. Without it giving way under your weight.
You will look after it, won't you, old time? It's pretty irreplaceable, that, and those words, if you could keep them intact, that'd be good.
I'll see what I can do. And you notice that you notice he's looking over your head at the workbench, and it's been trashed. Like it's basically like the creature smashed it, and it's just kind of split down the middle, and he's just kind of like, see what I can do.
How much am I going to owe you? Happy to leave a deposit now, or?
Sylvia steps forward, places a hand on Rupert's shoulder, and you all saved our lives. You won't have to pay a thing.
Since we will pay. How much is it for Zumbo's foot?
they look to each other and like your passive insights, the expression on their faces reads as like they feel uncomfortable asking you for like so much money, right? Because it's going to be an expensive job to, to try and use it to turn this like for what it is. It's going to be an expensive thing. And Rupert turns to you and 1 silver.
Katya puts her hand up to Zumbo before he starts going to pay. She's like, I've got this. And she grabs like a small bag and gives it to them. And she's like, I think this will be more than enough. And she gives them 100 gold coins.
Sorry, what? Oh my god.
Making it rain.
Making it hail.
So hang on, are you handing the bag to them closed?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So it just looks like a big bag of stuff. Okay.
Coppers or whatever. Yeah.
So as you hand the bag, like the two old folk look a bit confused as you hand them the bag, and then Sylvia kind of go on, you can't keep a war wizard waiting, she says as she kind of ushers you out. And as the 5 of you and Drool leave the building, and one of the war wizards closes the door behind them, from inside the house you hear, "Bloody hell, Rupert!"
How much did you give them, Katya?
The right amounts for the work they're doing, and for the other things they've done.
Wow. All right. Well, guess I owe you a drink.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But by the way, should we check on Magnus? Is he really dead?
I don't feel that he is.
Yeah, I could probably reach him if I wanted to.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's a spell I can use. I'll have to think about it, but...
I could always buy a new son now.
I'll keep that in mind.
On that note, off we go.
Wow, we were okay. And last but not least, so in the streets to the south, Badger, as you well, what's your immediate reaction? Because moments ago you've just seen Garabrel go, enough, and you turn this thing into cooked liver. Like what's happening?
Badger sort of pants heavily for a second, just staring at where it was, and then she looks up at Garabrail and goes, "That was badass."
You hear a voice from behind you say, "That was dangerous." As a female war wizard in a long brown coat with a hood steps in and studies the two of you and says, "I don't recognize either of your faces, but I hope that you," she says, pointing at Garabrail, "I hope that you're registered with the relevant authorities."
He's with me.
And she looks at you and, "What are you, his carer?"
Oh, we're Warhounds. You've heard of us.
As you say that, like Garabrel starts saying, "I am not part of the bloody war," and the war wizard
Do I
cuts him
kick
off
him in
and
the
says,
shin?
"Oh, you're part of the Warhounds. Well, I beg my pardon. I had not expected heroes of your stature this far south. I understood that you were situated in the areas around Arabelle."
We are. We're just passing through. We just got here today.
She nods and, "Welcome to Wheloon."
Thank you. I'm Badger. This is my colleague, Gary Braille. I mean, Gary Braille.
"Pleased to meet you, Gary," she says. "Pleased to meet you, Badger."
Badger just has a grin plastered to her face as she realizes what she just did. It's fine.
My name is Cressia, she says. I'm part of the War Wizards contingent stationed here. I see you have met one of our lingering problems.
That you know about them?
She nods. Remnants of Wheloon's dark past. They are sometimes referred to as shadow spawn. They are the congealed forms of negative emotions that dwelled here within the walls of Wheloon during the 30-year its stint for 30 years as a prison colony. Whilst Wheloon now is open to the public, it is unfortunate that some of the negative emotion lingers here and sometimes presents itself as creatures like this.
Oh, I mean, that's for emotions to manifest as real things. That must take powerful magic.
She nods and she looks at you, and there is a look of utter seriousness on her face as she says, "The magics of Shar are not to be trifled with."
Ooh. Yes, we had heard about the Sharran troubles. I mean, I suppose it's a fairly core Cormyrian history, isn't it? And she kind of looks to Gary Braille as if to say, look as if you know your Cormyrian history.
Garabrail is being uncharacteristically quiet.
Fair.
And she looks to you. The War Wizard looks to you, and is it just the two of you traveling the streets?
Badger jumps into the group chat and says, "War Wizard, what do I say? Are there more of us, or is it just me and Gary?"
Are we saying that there are War Wizards?
Shut up, Gary.
War Wizards, Warhounds.
I mentioned to our group of war wizards that I had allies in the city. So
and I've mentioned we're Warhounds. So this is going to play out. Thanks, bye. And she snaps to and says, "Yes, we have colleagues in the city."
The War Wizard.
She turns off the group chat.
The War Wizard. Chrysera kind of raises her eyebrows and. Would it happen to be the rest of the Warhounds?
Some of them. Yes, it's the Warhounds.
She looks around, and sort of like you notice some purple dragons rushing from the street up ahead, and the War Wizard kind of like points at the charred corpse on the floor. And yeah, you hear her instructing the purple dragons to sort it out so as not to distress the neighborhood any further. And then she turns back to the two of you, and I was wondering, would it be possible to meet the rest of your companions? I've always wanted to meet the Warhounds.
I've
heard so much about you.
Can I try and see if I get a vibe off her? Like, is this I've always wanted to meet the Warhounds, or is this more of a I've always wanted to meet the Warhounds? In a kind of you killed my father 5 years ago kind of way. Like, what is it?
I mean, we killed a lot of people. It's actually a possibility.
Insight check. It's a 7.
She said the words. I've always wanted
She wants to meet the Warhounds.
She wants to meet the Warhounds.
She likes us. Oh, we're famous. Yeah, sure.
I've heard all the songs, she says.
Oh, that's great. Katya will be so pleased. Well, yes, sure. I mean, is there... I could just check out where they are at the moment. I mean, do you want to meet them now or later? Have you got stuff to do?
She looks to you and says, is there somewhere that you have planned to meet up?
DM, is there somewhere we had planned to meet up?
I don't know, but you're all in a chat room with one another.
I think we did agree that we'd all meet at the tavern once we were
Yes. It was the tavern, wasn't it? I'm going to still assume it's the tavern.
Didn't we say at the end of last session that everyone should come to the temple, seeing how
the
there
shrine.
is alcohol? Yes.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
Head into the shrine.
Yes. So I tell her that we were going to head to a shrine. Shrine of Selune.
Selune. Okay, so the War Wizard nods, and it's a sensible bet to pick the shrine. Arguably one of the safest places in the town now.
Really?
Yeah. And yeah, the War Wizard nods, and to have Selune's blessing in the presence of Shar is a bountiful boon indeed. And with that, the War Wizard kind of gestures for you and Garabrael to lead on, and she gives us a couple of final instructions to the purple dragons as they.
How longer do we have on the chat room, by the way?
What's the duration on it?
It's an hour.
You'll have by the time you meet up at the temple, it'll probably have run out by that point.
I suspect so.
Yeah. So yeah, as you leave, the two kind of purple dragon recruits, who are just kind of standing over this smouldering blackened corpse, and they're just kind of grimacing, as one of them. Yeah, they grimace. One of them they look to one another, and they notice that only one of them is wearing gloves. Yeah, you and the War Wizards begin on your way. Is everyone? So everyone's convening at the Shrine of Selune.
Yeah, sounds good.
We're being taken wherever the War Wizards were taking us, but I guess we'd redirect them, saying, we were to meet at the temple.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So, yeah, when you drop that little nugget of information, they kind of redirect you because they want to talk to all of you. So, as you all, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, it's all gone wrong.
Oh no.
We were just about to bring the Cobblesons.
Yeah, we're joining. Yeah.
we want to be Warhounds.
They're heroes now.
Yeah, they've turned up in the armor they bought with 100 gold.
Yeah.
Oh
I was
my
gonna say
God.
that's a lot of purple dragons in one shrine.
Well, okay. So
Don't know how I feel about that.
So Hiram, you
Blocking the exit.
Hiram, you like you. So on the chat, you hear that everyone's kind of heading towards the Temple of Selune. Yeah, you also then find out that everyone's bringing guests. When Garabrael enters, Katya, Zumbo, and Balthazar, they arrive first. They were closer. Accompanied by 2 War Wizards. And then, Garabrael and Badger arrive second with another War Wizard. And as everyone kind of gathers in the room, Slate kind of slinks off and starts like schmoozing with the War Wizards and kind of getting to know them and talking to them and acting all kind of interested in them. Garabrael slinks off into a corner and just kind of moodily crosses his arms and leans against the side of the wall of the shrine, just kind of watching.
Drool comes to sit next to him.
Are they going to quadruple fireball us? Looks like it at the present.
Really hope not.
I mean, that would be an interesting way to end the campaign.
So, Carl, as Drool wanders across the shrine to Garabrael, you see him kind of shy away from the dog for a moment because this dog in scale armor, and they say nothing, but there's an intense kind of staring match between the two of them. You kind of get the feeling that they've probably gone into their own private chat room, and Garabrael and Drool are just Mate, I know. Are they? Well, you don't know. It looks like they're talking to each other in a private chat room, but you can't. You have no idea what. Like they've locked it. There's password protected. You can't get in. But yeah, Garabrell's just looking at this dog, utterly bewildered and bemused, as George just sits on the ground looking up at him, just. So, yes, you lot have a chance to have a little natter as Ameline intercepts the war wizards and kind of is just hoovering up their attention for a moment.
Does anyone else find it a little bizarre that a bunch of war wizards, not in the usual garb, turned up almost immediately after we were all attacked, in the 3 locations where we were attacked?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean they're not?
That bit is fishy. Yeah.
What do you mean they're not in usual garb?
Aren't they usually sort of much brighter and more purple?
Well,
Dim
yes,
Dan,
they're purple dragons.
can I use my things of days past to actually figure out would it be standard procedure / normal for them to do that?
You won't have to roll. The war wizards' robes are a uniform, right? They are a symbol of office. Part of a war wizard's power comes from people identifying them as a war wizard from the robes. So for these 5 to be, in inverted commas, they're almost like trying to be clandestine.
Really? Okay.
So it seems, I mean, it's not that cold. You're further south than you normally are. So, you can't tell if it's cold or not. But yeah, you notice no one's shivering. So it's not like they're wearing them for warmth. It does seem like, they're almost trying to keep a low profile.
Okay. So
I guess they're probably not that popular around here, are they? So if the streets are a little bit dangerous, they probably want to. Don't blame them for wanting to put a coat on.
Yeah. So Balthazar will just tell everyone that it's not standard procedure. So either they're trying to keep it low, or they're not war wizards.
Where's Hiram? Oh, under Balthazar. Okay.
They've got
Sorry.
They've got spell
It's
books.
okay.
See you there.
I saw them use magic back at the Cobblesons. Something that made their eyes glow.
Kaylin.
Actually, what?
Oh, sorry, go.
This would be honest, a Kaylin. Hiram would try to kind of keep it quiet and ask her, why did you not want to tell them about the creature that came in?
Kaylin, you see her kind of, her eyes are flittering to the war wizards and back every so often, like a shopkeeper keeping an eye on a known shoplifter. And she whispers back, in recent time, the war wizards they've been more and more busy recently. I don't know, they're help, they're known throughout the town. They don't keep the fact that they're here a secret, but I always find myself, I'm always wary when a war wizard's snooping around. It's just I just don't like how they can enforce their authority on someone who never asked for it.
Do you want us to take this somewhere else?
She kind of looks to you and, like, she seeing the war wizards literally blocking the exit to the shrine. I don't think there is anywhere else we can go for the time being, but when you arrived, we were interrupted, but you had some questions for me, Hiram.
Yeah.
And you never got a chance to ask them.
Well, I mean, I can ask them. Maybe they know something.
You want to ask the war wizards?
Do you think I should?
Well, what is the? Just to clarify, what was the nature of your question? The subject of your question.
I think the word to word the question was, how about them God, what's the name of the
Sharrans.
Yeah, how about them Sharran worshippers?
Okay. Okay, so she looks, and even mentioning Shah around a war wizard is a dangerous move, Hiram. They are specifically trained to sniff and hunt it out, root it out at the source.
Do we not want that?
Well, she nods, of course, but if you have war wizards as secretive and inquisitive as those here, the last thing you want is to accidentally become caught up in false accusations, and I don't know. It's in times like these, sometimes people are just looking for a scapegoat. So the less attention you can bring to Shah in their presence, I would argue, the better. But I mean, the city, the town was obviously shut off because of Sharran worship. You know, the King Foril literally had a wall magically constructed around the city to keep people in, and the citizens of Wheloon were just left to fend for themselves amidst crazed cultists, murderers, murderers, and all other sorts of criminals. This place became a kill or be killed, a kill or be killed arena. It was horrific. And the Temple of Shah, she stops. It was the Temple of Mistra. And she kind of turns around, and just out the window at the back of the shrine, you can see towards the north there's a hill. And atop the hill you can see bits of building. She kind of discreetly gestures. They said it was a Temple of Mistra, and it was constructed. It was the first of its kind, and people flocked here to worship in the presence of the goddess of magic. But it took us too long to realize that it was all a ruse. The temple was actually dedicated to Shah. The supposed Mistran priests and priestesses were going out and kidnapping people in the night, taking them back to the temple to be sacrificed, all to empower the night mistress. When the crown found out how powerful the shadow had become thanks to this temple, that's what caused Foril to have the walls brought up. The temple was razed in the end. It served as almost like a base for a lot of the underground criminal contacts within the city, but it's been razed to the ground, and ironically they're now trying to build a Purple Dragon Citadel where it stood. So
that sounds wise.
Of course. I mean, in terms
Although
of public
I have
image,
to point out,
yes,
you say that they are super suspicious and we might be in trouble, but look how patiently they are waiting for us to finish our chat.
Ameline is keeping them occupied.
Yeah, Ameline
knows how.
Just her arms are out, and she's like, "Oh, how are you? Oh, you know what? My favourite flowers are dandelions."
You should replace your new king with a queen.
Yes.
Oh God. But her point is, I mean, I am asking the question, but it's very clear to me I am not the most I'm not really good at deception. So I think look at everyone else. What does everyone else think? What should we do?
Yeah, sorry. The priestess finishes, by saying, on face value, Shah has been eradicated from Wheloon, but all it takes...
I mean, clearly not.
All it takes is for one person to harbour the shadow in their hearts, and the cycle begins again. This is why Selune has, since creation, battled with her sister in an attempt to keep Shah from attaining more power than she's due.
And if you were a betting woman, and where would you suspect this shadow to be gathering in Wheloon right now? If people were wanting to kickstart the old Shah worship stuff again, where would they go?
Have you kind of informed her that you were, well, not informed her directly, but has she overheard that you were all attacked across the city? Would that have come up amongst yourselves?
I don't think so at this point. No, I think when I think about it, what happened? Am I correct in assuming what happened is all of our friends came in. Like Hiram gave like a very vague warning, like, oh yeah, all of my friends are meeting me here, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone came in, and then we sort of just chatting with each other. Like she has no idea who we are.
She would have introduced, all of us. Hi, I'm Kaylin. Hi, I'm Kaylin.
Yeah. Yeah, we are entering her shrine, so at least we'll be on a named basis.
Yeah.
Except for Garabrail, who's now Gary.
He's being he's sulking over in the corner.
I will never call him anything else ever again, by the way.
So Kaylin looks to you, and like her eyebrows raise. Is there anywhere in particular? A beast made of shadow entered a shrine of Selune with no ill effect. I think the shadow is all around us.
Yeah, right, but there must be somewhere they have their meetings, eh?
Last time it was underground, so maybe we can start there.
Team huddle. Very quickly, sorry.
We are already team huddling.
She basically looks to Kaylin like
it's her
warhound.
Okay.
I'll sing the Tears of Selune as payment later, but just quick team huddle.
Kaylin swaps out with Ameline.
Can I just ask what was going on when the creatures appeared for you? What was happening at the time?
Well, we were drinking wine and just... Actually, I think she was about to ask something or say something, but we never got around to it.
And what was your creature?
It was this two-headed monstrosity.
Yeah, I was praying for Shar to come, so no surprises there.
I think everyone looks at Balthazar for a second.
What?
We'll work on your humour later, buddy.
Okay.
Because as I think about it, Magnus's parents were, until I told them the tale about Vigilante Magnus, they were extremely upset, and the creature we fought seemed to be filled with sorrow. How about you, Badger? What did you and Garabrail end up fighting? What was happening before it appeared?
We'd just been accosted by thugs. I think they probably wanted our They probably wanted our coin purses or something. And the creature, Dan, remind me what emotional state our creature was in. Was it sort of sad or scared or?
Yeah, when it got close to you, you were overwhelmed with sorrow.
Sorrow, that's it. Yeah, we had a big, tall, lanky monster that just seemed to be really, really sad.
And what again? I think I've got them all muddled up.
So yours was crying. Well, it was crying.
Okay,
then...
so I'm not completely off then.
They were all sad. That's what we were
I think ours was angry.
Yeah. Yours was angry.
Very angry.
Okay,
It was probably embodying
I
Emily.
think one was scared, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One was scared, one was sad, and one was angry.
Yeah.
Do you think
So
it connects to
maybe-
the emotional state of the people who live here?
I'm thinking maybe heightened emotions, like, you know, thinking that your son is dead is a strong emotion. You know, any some family member. I know when my mother died, I was extremely distraught for a while, as long as Ursula would let me be. But
Out of
I
character,
think,
Carl, but this happened
Yeah.
after you told them that he might be alive.
well, that's what I'm sort of getting at. Like maybe the emotion had already manifested before she then started trying to fix it.
Tell you what, we're gonna have Katya, Zumbo, and Balthazar roll a retrospective insight check.
Okay.
Not my strong suit.
I got a 9.
2.
13. Can I add
Apparently,
guidance?
Balthazar is the most in tune with his feelings.
So,
Makes sense.
in actual fact, yeah. So Balthazar, like you're hearing what Katya's saying, and like on the face of it, like you kind of agree with what she's saying, but there's something that doesn't sit quite right. And as you kind of mull it over in your head a little bit, you realize because it's something that you felt yourself. The creature wasn't like scared or anything. It was lost.
Okay. Right.
It felt lost.
All right. I'll tell the party that. I'll just be like, yeah, I think it was mostly lost.
Well, I could have tried asking for directions.
True. I guess this probably isn't
So
the
it's like,
best time for me to.
Like a loss, a confused kind of. So when you're lost and you just kind of become confused and panicked, and yeah.
What was that, Balthazar?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm looking for my god, but it's probably not Shar. Maybe I shouldn't go.
I hope it's not Char.
Yes,
That
that
could
who
be a
knows?
problem.
You know.
Are we the problem?
Are we the baddies?
I mean,
Maybe.
Balthazar is searching for. I mean, all three of us are really Balthazar, me, and Zumbo. We're all searching for something. You know, Garabrael is well, I don't think he's exactly upset. Well, maybe. I mean, you both technically, your home is an issue of
Lost
sadness.
position?
Yeah, and she kind of looks around to Emily and then up to Hiram, and then across to Amelie, and it's like, I feel there may be not, especially maybe with Emily. Emily has a lot of internal anger, and I think you're dealing with a lot as well,
I mean,
Hiram.
I see what you're getting at, but
No.
I don't know. Do you feel like we are still missing something?
There's definitely something missing.
Oh wait, we are in a team huddle. Do we actually? Can anyone remind me what we know about the artifact that we are looking for?
It's
Not an
Shar.
awful lot, I don't think.
Yeah, only that it can control minds.
Commands
Yeah,
total
so-
loyalty, doesn't it?
You are here to you've been pointed in the direction of Wheloon by Renner's vision, but so I guess you're hoping that you'll find something out about it. Here.
Can we speak to War Wizards? That might take
absolutely.
us in the right direction.
So yeah, you notice. So as you break the team huddle, you notice that Kaylin's just about lost control of the War Wizards. Yeah, go Warhounds! Yeah. So Kaylin just kind of moves away because she realizes she can't kind of stall the War Wizards anymore. And yeah, Aiden Elberth, he steps forward. He would have introduced himself to all of the newcomers as they arrived. Just kind of, there's a looking at direct eye contact, smiling. Oh, yeah, pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. One of the war wizard that came in with Badger and Garabrail. She's kind of a bit bouncy on her feet, and you overheard her say, "This is all the Warhounds." But yes, Aiden steps forward, and yeah, he looks to you and thank you for coming together so quickly. I understand from my colleague that you, he says, kind of gesturing to Katya, Balthasar, Zumbo, you have agreed to help us with a little mission of ours. We appreciate that, and in return, if you have, if there's anything that we can do, we are more than happy to help.
We agreed if our party would agree, so at the moment it's not assured, but we'll see what you have to say and decide if it is within our best interests.
Mm-hmm. Truth be told, the request we help is it's more of a motivational thing, if anything. We feel that if there are adventurers, unknown faces accompanying the war wizards whilst we patrol Wheloon, looking for threats and dangers, it might convince the townfolk to be a bit more open with us themselves. Put on a more friendly face. Sometimes we worry that the uniform puts some people off.
You want us to go on patrol with you?
If you would.
Oh.
But that's something that, we don't have to do that immediately. And say if there is anything that we can help you with, we will see if we can address that first.
Actually, I think patrols sound like a good thing to do. We could get to know the area a bit better that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I agree.
He nods. He turns to you, Balthazar, and a Knight of Helm, eh?
Yeah.
And he looks at you and you notice he's looking at the backs of your knees and your construction. It's immaculate.
Yeah, the wizards did a good job.
And he looks to the rest of you. I assume an import from Lantern or Sembia, maybe. I understand that the Sembians have developed autonomous constructs as well.
It was a payment from the
Coco?
She keeps wanting to. She keeps wanting to call him Coco, but she's like Calco for the things that happened with Garabrail. These yes.
Aiden's face darkens and Tekauko. I know that name. And I'm glad that such a slimy snake was ejected from Cormyr's borders. Good riddance.
Oh my god, you understand. He was so annoying.
Normally it wouldn't be that much of it wouldn't command that much of my attention, but I heard that one of his constructs tore up part of the docks in Suzail. And I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah, funny story.
Yes, our friend Balthasar here is a step towards penance for all the wrongdoings he tried to inflict upon us.
Aiden nods and then looks to you, Balthazar, and if I may be so bold, I would love to get to know you better, Sir Knight of Helm. Have you told him your name?
Sure, Balthazar.
Okay. I would love to get to know you better, Sir Balthazar.
Sure. Okay. All right.
And
Are we gonna go
Aiden
patrolling?
nods.
Is that a thing?
Sure. So, in which case, yeah, Aiden smiles. He turns to Kaelin and nods, and a pleasure to see you as always, Lady Zimmerman. He says, and like he looks to you. He carries on looking. He sees Garabrail. There's a tense moment between the two men as they stare at each other. And then Aiden, well, let's go then, he says. And as he steps off, the war wizards kind of filter out around him. And yeah. Garabrail looks up to you and, patrol? Really?
Technically speaking, we were patrolling before, just unofficially.
Yes, but what's the chances of us finding what we need whilst wandering the streets with them?
Well,
Chances of us being attacked by monsters in the first hour of us being in the city.
but
That seems to be
also
a
some
call.
of us, obviously not me, are pretty good with getting information out of people. Maybe we should try for that too.
Yeah, you notice that Garabrail's kind of looking at you and it's a, what? You can do that?
Yes. Have you ever tried using your words?
Yeah, he looks to you and he goes to retort, but then he just grunts at you. You see him kind of dip down and he ruffles Draw's head and, come on, he says.
Oh.
And yeah, as he pads off, like Draw starts like following after Garabrail, but then stops and then looks up at you, Katya. And it's a sheepish dog look.
She gives him the thumbs up.
Aww.
Okay, and then yeah, Draw goes padding off with Garabrail.
Cool. We head off, I guess. So.
Okay. And as you begin to filter out of the shrine, Kaelin shouts out to you, Moon Maiden bless you, she says, as you leave the shrine.
Helm, watch over you.
Katya starts singing the Tears of Selune as she leaves the place.
Okay. And yeah, as you leave, you see Kaelin kind of looking around the shrine, and like there's all dirt and road muck that's been dragged in, and you see her kind of head over to what appears to be a broom that's propped up in the corner. Sorry, she stoops down, picks up a bit of the fountain that got broken off by her head earlier, and then
here I'm just going to go back and say, listen, I know that you are probably not happy about this, and I'm sorry we are not staying to help clean this up. But here, I'm gonna give her. How much gold would I give to help repair this goddamn fountain?
Oh, at least 100.
No.
Give 10.
I'm not even sure if I have that much gold on me. I've spent a lot.
I mean,
yeah,
bear
10
in
gold.
mind, like,
10 gold sounds
monthly
reasonable.
wages like monthly wages for a carpenter is like 3 gold a month.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
10 gold's a
More than
huge
enough.
amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just give her 10 gold. So I know this is not the best way to do it, but yeah.
And she looks to you as you hand her the 10 gold, and she takes in a deep breath. She looks at you. You see, like, her eyes are shimmering slightly, and she lays a hand on your breastplate, and you hear her whisper something under her breath, and she casts bless on you.
Oh.
Bless.
So yeah, it's just going to be like your next roll will have bless on it. It's like a long-term guidance, I should say.
Cool.
Nice.
So, yeah, as you So as you step out of the shrine into the streets of Wheloon, you are. So you are currently all at the shrine to Selune. So we can just use the Warhounds symbol here. So, yeah, we find you at the shrine of Selune. The war wizards look to you and was there? Aiden says, "Was there anywhere in particular that you wanted to go first? And if that's if there's nowhere in particular, left or right?"
Well, I've been pretty interested in the southern district, actually.
Yeah, they
Just heard it's really nice.
Aiden tilts his head and it has character, yes. And like look into the other warhounds. Is there any other suggestions, or
No,
you happy to go? Happy to go counterclockwise. Okay, cool. So in which case, yeah, you begin kind of traveling counterclockwise around the town, and you notice as you're walking along, like the citizens are kind of peering out. When they see the war wizards, they instinctively kind of like shy away. But the war wizards just seem to be kind of steaming on regardless.
Ketcha, do you want to sing Blood of the Warhounds? As we're marching down the street?
Give me a performance check and I shall do my best.
Okay. Bam.
Oh,
26.
Holy moly.
26. Okay, so as you're walking through the streets of... as you're...
-1 to performance for Balthazar. So
That's
cute.
adorable.
Okay, so Katya, as you're walking through the streets of Wheloon, you take out your lute and you begin playing the ballad. The dark-skinned female war wizard, kind of her eyes light up, and I love this song, she says, as you start playing it.
Sing along.
And you get through the first stanza, and then Anton, I want you to recreate your addition to the second verse and onwards.
We have the second verse of it.
We don't even have the first verse, really. Should really write it down at some point. But
Okay, not necessarily words, but I would like to hear your melody, Balthazar.
Oh.
Because we are very roleplay dependent in this group, so I'm going to need you to back up that 6 on performance.
Hold on, I'm just writing down the lyrics.
Oh, dedication.
Good effort.
And the Warhounds came marching through, killing all the enemies in sight. Beware, beware, the Warhounds are coming.
Very good.
Very good. Inspiration for Balthazar. Yes.
Yeah.
So Cash is like in front, like singing with the lute, and Balthazar's at the back, just singing along.
Hammering against his chest, making like clanging drum sounds.
Like paraphrasing the words. It's close enough.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. Okie dokie. So, yeah, as you go around, you notice that more people, like as your song plays out, yeah, the people of Wheloon seem to be sticking around a bit closer, a bit longer. Sorry. Kind of interesting to see what's happening. As you're going, yeah, Aiden turns to you all and says, "So what is it that brought you to Wheloon?" He says to Badger. And Zombo. He says to Badger and Zombo. What brings you to Wheloon?
Well, we had heard about all the Sharran worship, and we wanted to make sure it was all fine. Is it fine?
He takes a breath, and it's difficult, but we're doing our best to keep it all under control. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for the Star Wars quote, Carl. Very good.
Thank you.
Well, I suppose the presence of strange emotional manifestation creatures implies that it might not be 100% fine. So it looks like we got here at exactly the right moment.
He nods. But from my understanding, you and yours are from Arabelle. Why come so far south just to see if things are amiss? Surely there must be something else.
Of course there is. And that thing is Zumbo.
Thanks, Badger. Yeah. Was wondering when you were going to let me get in there. Yeah.
I know, I've talked so much.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Thanks. Well, the thing of it is, right, is we just cleared up all the trouble in Arabelle. Place was getting small. Place was getting boring. We needed a fresh challenge, and we heard about Wheloon, heard about the Sharran worship, and it sounded up our street. We've dealt with worse, so thought we'd come down here, offer our services, and glad we did, because we weren't here long before fighting for our lives against nasty shadow beasts. So,
like he said.
So presumably you're planning on being here for a while.
Well, depends how long this thing takes to fix. Yeah, we're pretty speedy. Yeah.
We're good franchise down here.
He nods, and then over the din coming from the back of the group, Aidan looks over his shoulder. He is remarkable, isn't he? He says, looking at Balthazar.
Yes.
Yeah. Enthusiasm.
He's one of a kind.
He's got enthusiasm.
Yes, he's very good.
If you had told me even 5 years ago that it would be possible to create golem-like entities that could think for themselves, have their own free will, arguably have a soul, all of my wizardly training would have prompted me to tell you that you were talking out of your backside. But this is definitely a remarkable future we're living in.
We haven't mentioned that. I thought we just said that he was a knight sealed in armor.
I'm confused about that.
He figured it out because he looked basically between the joints of the armor.
Yep.
So he knows he knows we lied, but he's not really called us out on it.
He basically is convinced he's one of the clockwork.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what he thinks. He thinks Balthazar is one of Tekalko's clockwork.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks, and the things coming out of Lantern boggle the mind. I've heard that they're equipping some of their soldiers with weapons. They're hollow metal tubes with some sort of alchemical reagents that explode when lit, and they're using them to fire projectiles at high speeds.
It sounds dangerous. They explode and then they fire the thing. Yeah, poor people.
True. I mean, it sounds remarkable, but that is, you're absolutely correct. It does sound dangerous. I mean, what's wrong with tried and tested magic?
Well, the thing you got to realise about our Balthazar, right, is that, he's many things, and like you say, he's pretty amazing, but he is not a weapon. So, anyone you talk to and tell him about, you made that clear. He's definitely not a weapon. Not dangerous at all. Big softy, really.
He's a pussycat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
It's more of a lover than a fighter.
He nods, and I've I've been a war wizard for a surprising number of years. I had heard that Cormyr was dabbling with similar experiments, but nothing came of it, thankfully. I dread to think what would happen if something had come to fruition. But then Aidan stops, looks back at Balthazar and says, "Then again, would it be so bad?" he says. Balthazar, what are you still singing, or?
Yeah, Balthazar's getting wrapped up into the whole thing. He's like on patrol with the Warhounds, showing the population who's who.
Is he like up against the loot now? So she's strumming away, and he's literally there, up against the loot.
Yeah,
going full rock and roll.
He's forgotten all about like war wizards and keeping up. He's just in character, I guess. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So yeah, as you continue on with your patrol, they kind of get to a T junction, and it's near where you first appeared in the city, in the town. Sorry, and the wizards look to you, Zumbo, and are you sure you want to go south? I mean, it's certainly the most dangerous part of town.
So we're the Warhounds, remember?
And the wizards, absolutely. I suppose this is what we're doing.
And as we walk around, Dan, I'm still looking out for thieves' camp. Anywhere I can see it.
Gotcha. In which case, as you head south into the area, so Badger and Garabrail, you're heading down the street that you came up. Zumba, you start noticing around you there's more and more like gang affiliation signs kind of cropping up on the sides of buildings, and to everyone else they would just look like, in inverted commas, graffiti. But you start to see kind of patterns in the various symbology and whatnot, and you're realizing that these are areas that are being, the areas are being cut up by various kind of gangs. You've also noticed that a lot of the signs are kind of older or have been sprayed over, or not sprayed over, but like painted over. So it's clear that territory is changing hands at a relatively rapid pace. But looking around, you notice that like everyone around they all look a bit scrawny. They all look a bit weedy. Like a lot of the people around are young. And going off the back of something that Badger may have mentioned to you earlier, you realise that everyone who would be kind of fighting strong, you haven't seen anyone. Everyone looks sickly. Everyone looks kind of frail. It seems that the only people left in Wheloon are the ones that the army didn't want. And those people are now trying to carve out areas of southern Wheloon for themselves. What you do notice at last, however, is a sign on a wall that says, "The shadow's never gone. It just went underground."
In thieves' camp or in common?
In thieves' camp.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to. Obviously, I'll start at that, but try not to show it. I don't want to say anything in front of the war wizard, so I'll wait till there's a better time.
Yeah, so it's basically like a wall. So it says that's like the main message. Shadow's never gone. It just went underground, and there's like other tags around it. And the other one that picks up that you note is one that says, "At least in the dark, we could do what we wanted."
Do they look recent, those graffiti marks, or?
Ish.
Okay.
So yeah, the impression you start to get from it isn't so much that these people are avid Sharran worshippers, but they did have personal freedoms.
Yeah, Dumbo can get that. Okay.
So yeah, the wizards turn to you, Hiram, and they look. Yeah, as you're walking through the streets, one of the wizards says to you, "I bet you don't see anything like this in Arabelle, do you?"
What do you mean? People?
Just all this suffering, this despair.
Despair is everywhere. This is not a new thing. It's just a bit more obvious here.
The war wizard nods. Hopefully, this whole mess between Raedra and the king comes to an end soon. The sooner that ends, the sooner the people of Wheloon will return home, and perhaps this place will actually become the trading hub it was supposed to be.
Hiram is going. Can Hiram look at them and kind of gauge how invested they are in the king winning?
You can, if you give me an insight check, s'il vous plaît.
Okay. 19.
19. The intonation in the wizard's voice, the delivery, you kind of get the idea that this war wizard isn't necessarily rooting for Ezered or Raedra. It was very much a case of it should probably be over. Okay. The sooner it's over. And yeah, okay. As you kind of suss it out, the wizard looks you in the eye, and there's almost like an unspoken understanding between the two of you.
Yeah. I think him is actually going to say, yeah, they might come home, but they are not going to be the same, will they? They are fighting their own people. That is going to leave some marks.
Yeah, he nods. I would say, once upon a time, I would have said it could feel different. I was sent to Cormyr during the War of Shadow, and it was easy when you were fighting them, when they weren't part of your tribe. But I suppose the scary thing about a civil war is that even though they are your fellow countrymen and women, they are no longer part of your tribe. And it's upsettingly easy how quickly the common folk can place their fellow citizens in the other camp. And he looks around. This whole city, this whole town was condemned to them. Even the children were locked in here.
Yeah. I'm sure it made sense at the time, but it seems unbelievably cruel.
Yeah. They nod, and as you've now kind of exited the South District, and you're beginning to head up towards the cobbler's shop that Catcher, Balthazar, and Zumbo are at. The conversation kind of dies down a bit. You pass Cobbleson Son, and then you keep on heading in a northeasterly direction. And off in the distance, you can see, kind of on a raised, on an elevated above the town, You can see what appears to be, you just about make out like a construction site, if you will. And Aiden turns to you all and, did you want to have a look?
Why not? What was there before? I mean, no, we already know, but she.
Yeah. So Aiden, as you begin kind of walking up this hill, that irritatingly gets more and more steep the further you go up. When they constructed it, it was a temple of Mistra. It was designed to be a temple of Mistra. It was one of the finest, one of the finest in all of Cormyr. And such a lot of care and attention went into it. Space for communion, space for prayer, space for ceremonies. There was a great library that was built in the built underneath it that housed all sorts of knowledge on magic and the teachings, supposedly of Mistra. Details on the weave, Mistra's weave, and a chronologing of historical events throughout Cormyr. It was going to be a marvelous thing.
I don't suppose any of this underground library's still there, is it? I'm a big book guy. I don't know if you can tell from looking at me.
So as you ask this, like, you've basically gotten to the top of the hill and you're stood in front of what you overhear one of the war wizards refer to it as the Tower of Shame.
Ooh.
In front of you is what appears to, effectively it's clear that the whole thing was just raised and they're building fresh, because it's just like half-built walls of what appears to be a garrison or a keep. But yeah, as you get to the top, Zumbo, as you ask this, Aiden stops and he turns to you and says, well, bear in mind that it turns out, remember, it turned out to be a temple of Shar, not Mistra. So who knows what information was kept in those tomes underneath the temple? Who knows what other horrors were down there?
What did
but
the temple
as
look
per
like?
the official records, everything to do with the Temple of Shar was razed and burned.
And I assume you sealed off the underground bits, right? Just to be safe.
The war wizard, so Aiden looks to you. To have that much knowledge on the enemy within reach of the public would be a terrible, terrible thing. He looks to you lot, and he looks to the other wizards. But to have that much knowledge on the enemy in the hands of those who could use that to combat the enemy, perhaps that was something too precious to give up.
So that'll be a no then.
Tower
no
look
one...
like?
Say again?
What did this tower look like, mind me asking?
When would it have happened? Yeah, I think, Katja, you would have been too young. So one of the, as you say this out loud, one of the war wizards kind of opens their hand, mutters something under their breath, and a minor illusion appears above their hand, and it depicts this glorious, this beautiful, like tall, towering temple, covered in ornate decoration and embellishment. Like the thing looked immaculate. More impressive than the temple to Timora in both Arabelle and Suzail.
So not what she saw in her vision then.
No. Yeah, Aiden looks to you all and says, "No one comes to Wheloon on a whim. I feel like you're searching for something. And as I say, we might be able to help you."
We've got to do it.
We're searching
But we
for
what?
meaning.
I
Come on,
don't
guys.
trust these guys at all.
Okay, group huddle. Excuse
Group
me.
huddle, group
Excuse
huddle.
me. And Badger.
The War Wizards will not allow a huddle.
Arr. No huddle. No huddle. No information.
Catcher speaks directly into Badger's mind. Should I quickly skim the top of their thoughts?
Yes, do it. Do it.
Not. No.
Do it.
Well, if I don't push, they don't know.
Do it. Do
Oh,
it. Do
this
it.
is new. Cast at level.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
I don't want to fight these guys.
So she's going to basically cast it only to read the top level. She isn't going to push any further, but basically read the top
Just
level
get their
thoughts.
basic motivations right now.
Exactly. See if there's maybe duplicity on their mind, or
do it.
if they're genuine.
This is a really good idea.
Ask them
Nothing
what-
can go
ask them
wrong.
what- No,
Nothing.
ask them what Ask them what they want of us, and I'll see what their thoughts.
Okay, so Mr. Arvin, was it?
Aiden, isn't it?
Aiden.
Aiden, yes. So why do you ask? Why do you ask what we're looking for?
The Warhounds have been instrumental in changing the course of Cormyr's history. And Cormyr stands at a dangerous precipice. You notice he's not kind of looking at you, he's kind of looking off to the side, and like just over the wall, you know there is a sheer drop into the river below. Like just to the east of you. He wants to help you, the Warhounds, secure a better Cormyr.
Very noble of you.
Aiden shrugs.
It's his surface level. He does want to help.
He wants to help you find the answers you're looking for.
And his colleagues.
So you can only target one person at a time.
Yeah, as an action, I can shift my attention.
In which case, there's 4 of them. So you've got, there's 4 of them. I've got the tokens here. So left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which number are you going for?
1.
1. So that was the beardy guy that was with Aiden when he turned up at the temple. Mind is empty. No, there's just like a
Tacos.
It's Taco Tuesday.
That's a really nice dog. Yeah, he's like, cause they're all kind of listening to Aiden. And they all like there's a sense of affirmative in his brain.
Then 2, then 3, then 4.
So we're just standing there for like 12 seconds to 18 seconds.
Yeah. So, what do?
So Catcher reaffirms that to Badger. They seem genuine. At least on the surface, they seem genuine.
I want to go back to you said something about using the the weapons and knowledge of the enemy against them. Could you give an example of how you've done that? Using what you found below. You must have reason to have left it unsealed this whole time. Must have found something good down there.
So Aiden looks to you, and the area is sealed. The area is sealed to most. But if it were if it transpires that there is something within, if there is something that could be used, wards can be switched off. Wards can be deactivated.
I'm wanting to kind of really push him on this. I'll lean in, sort of, trying to get his confidence to go, look, you and I both know that if the king found out you were hoarding Sharran stuff down here, he wouldn't be best pleased, right? And I ain't going to snitch, but you must suspect that you got something in particular. You wouldn't take such a risk, otherwise he'd have your head for that.
I think the question, Master Halfling, is, well, the answer is whatever is down there was important enough that Rhaedra's grandfather decided to lock everyone in instead of dealing with it.
Catcher sort of
Damn.
blurts out then, we're trying to end the war, and there may be information down there that helps end it. It may state one side enough to stop attacking the other and just leave.
Aidan looks to you, and then it would seem that our objectives are in alignment.
Seems so?
Right then. Yeah.
Okay. So with that, you can see that there are a very small number of labourers kind of pottering around, trying to build this keep. And looking at it, it's going to take years with this number of Well, all the strong labourers have probably been conscripted into the armies, so yeah, work is pretty much completely stopped. The war wizards turn to you and, would you like to venture into the Tower of Shame?
I'm giving everyone like a yes, we should.
We should. Like, this might not be the word we're looking for here, but yes.
Okay. In which case the wizards look to one another, nod, and then they lead you up to the top of the hill. And as you enter into as you get to the construction site, we will take a 10-minute break.
Wait.
Yay.
Yay.
Cool. I will see you all in 10.
See you in a bit.
See you in 10.
Soon.
Bye.
Hi, this is Anton. Do you like Balthazar? Is he your favorite character? Please like and subscribe, or he'll be broken down for scrap.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your break. When we left off, the Warhounds had agreed to follow this group of war wizards into a completely non-existent area underneath the what was the Tower of Shame.
Totally not a trap.
Non-existent, non-lethal.
Yes.
And these war wizards are not dodgy.
No.
So good.
And I don't understand why you think they would be. Yes, they've clocked on that you are looking for something, looking for answers to questions that have yet to be answered, and they are hoping to get some mutual furtherment by letting you letting you down below. So, we rejoin the Warhounds. As you follow the war wizards through the construction site of what is clearly going to be a purple dragon keep or garrison of some description, you notice that there are no workers working at the facility, working at the site, presumably because they are all off currently fighting Rhaedrans, traitors to the crown. You are effectively kind of led round the back, where there are kind of a number of dig sites where they're digging out and kind of reinforcing foundations. But you can see one kind of foundation wall that's already been constructed. The war wizards approach it, and they you see one of the two female war wizards kind of raise a hand up and they kind of nod, like lower their heads, and you feel kind of the tingling as magic starts to emanate from them, and you watch as the wall slides away, leaving what appears to be like a short corridor that then leads to a spiral staircase that descends into darkness. And the wizards gesture to you and mind your step.
Wait, so what exactly is down here? No, not that we're afraid or anything. We just want to be prepared. Is it fiends, demons? Oh, well, we got it.
As we discussed earlier, part of the underneath the Mistran temple was a library of a sort, full of tomes of knowledge and power. We have reason to believe, given that this place turned out to be a focus of Shah. The tomes are probably not about Mistra.
So what you're saying is there's probably some very old Sharran librarians down there.
We can assume the librarians are gone, but the books they left behind will still be there. The knowledge of the enemy is one of the most powerful weapons we could use.
Well, do you want to go first? Does he know where you're going? We can follow you in.
Aiden looks you all, shrugs, and he stoops his head to head into this kind of small tunnel, and you watch him begin to descend. He disappears from sight as he goes around a corner down. You can hear his foot's echoing out as he begins heading down what appear to they sound like a large spiral staircase.
Right.
And as you poke your heads in, there's a strong, stale, musty smell.
Yeah. Badger's going to follow on, just in case he gets into any trouble on the stairs on the way in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to follow them too, with Emily in tow.
Yeah.
Balti Boy's intrigued by the books, so he'll join.
So
Joel looks up like Garrett Braille and gestures with his head.
So it was Aiden, Badger, Hiram, Emily. Who next?
Me?
I'll bring up the rear.
Okay. Balthazar, Garabrail, Katya, Drool,
I just
Slate.
realized,
Uh-huh.
are we the Scooby-Doo gang?
Yeah, you're not far off.
You know what?
So, got a dog.
Okay, so you head down the spiral stairs. You descend some considerable distance, it feels like, and to the point where deep enough there that Aiden has lit a torch to give you some light. But yeah, the only your world is consumed by the echoing sounds of your own footsteps as you head down these stairs. You eventually come to a flat surface, the stairs end. The corridor, if you will, stretches 10 foot, and left and right, and you see that there are more stairs that spiral down. But these stairs look much more deliberately crafted. There's more craftsmanship into this kind of winged set of stairs. And Aiden turns to you, Badger, and even with your gnomish eyes, it's hard to pick things out in this darkness. It's that dark. But yeah, you hear. Sorry, beyond his torchlight, you just can't really see anything. But he turns to you and says, "Left or right?"
Isn't it always left in the labyrinth?
Let's go left.
Let's go left. Okay. In which case, yeah, he takes the left staircase, and you continue heading down.
Do we really want to sort of piss Shar off a little and pull out the moon sword?
Ooh.
If you think that's a good idea, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll draw the moon sword to shed a little bit of illumination.
We are really riding that what can go wrong train today.
Yup.
Okay.
Basically,
So-
big middle finger to Shar.
This is fine.
As you descend the stairs, these spiral stairs kind of loop round, effectively 180, until they kind of end up facing themselves again. And as you filter out one by one, you find yourself in what appears to be a vast vault beneath the ruins of the temple. And through your respective lights and dark visions, you can see that there are what appear to be stone columns that rise from the floor at regular intervals. And these pillars are effectively bookshelves. Just kind of almost, it looks like it's floor to ceiling, but you can't, like, your light doesn't penetrate the darkness overhead. And Badger, like, as you poke your head out, you can see that around the bookshelves, like dotted around, there are also various kind of sarcophagi, and well, they look like sarcophagi. I don't know, it's up to you whether you hope if they're actually sarcophagi or just room decorations. You can see a smattering of light sources, like throwing out a dim purplish light throughout the vault. As Slate is Ameline. So yeah, as you step out into the room, what do you do?
You said there were sarcophagi about.
Well, yeah, so just to the left of you, you
Like
can
this
see,
one
they look
here,
like
yeah.
sarcophagi with kind of sculpted reliefs of what appear to be, like as you approach, the decoration on the top is made of white. Well, anything that's skin would be skin on this woman is like white marble. Everything else is like a dark ebony.
Ooh,
Like
okay.
a black jet.
Like, do I recognize the art style or who this is perhaps meant to be depicting? Or just like what kind of would this have been a priestess or is this a depiction of Shar or Mistral? Like what's going on with this sarcophagus?
Sure. Let's have. Is anyone else having a look?
I imagine Katya would follow you slightly.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the books. I'm trying to see the indexation system.
Okay.
So the other war wizards filter in, and yeah, you hear them say, like Aiden turns to you and says, "Be careful. We don't know what lies in the shadows down here." So Balthazar's reading books. Is anyone joining a Badger at the sarcophagi?
Yeah, Katya.
Yeah, we got Katya for sure. I think
Katya.
Zumbo, you were going to have a look at them.
I was. I'm just seeing this statue. Is that a statue here?
The sarcophagi, isn't it?
That
Oh, yeah,
appears to
up
be a.
Yeah, they're creepy looking.
Yeah, so those are statues of priests with their, like, in robes, faceless priests in robes with their hands out.
Cool.
In which case, I'm also going to be paying attention because I do have a +5 to religion.
Okay. So the war wizards will scatter out a bit more as they go snooping. So Katya, Badger, Hiram, Zumbo?
No, I think he's going to wander off to look at these statues.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to move closer.
Okay. So the three of you, if I could have religione checks.
Natural.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Natty 20.
nice.
Badger got a
22.
5. What a nice looking lady.
She's
So yeah,
pretty.
Badger, you're caught up by the
She's
craftsmanship
sleeping.
of it all. Katya, Hiram, you realise you are looking upon the depicted visage of Shah.
Mm-hmm.
Badger, that's Shah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, the pretty lady. That's Shah.
Oh, that's Shah.
That's Shah. Yes, this is a depiction of Shah.
Oh, she's pretty.
Yeah, and Badger, as you look over, you notice that Hiram stood by a sarcophagus that's identical to yours.
Mm.
So it dawns on you that, if there is someone inside, they're all under the image of Shah.
Katya looks over to Hiram and sees that Hiram's come to the same conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'd better leave this alone then.
So Balthazar, you're heading around and looking at the books. You notice there's a lot of like on these books, the ones that are legible, because they've been down here for some time, like presumably at least 10 years. There seem to be a lot of journals, a lot of kind of sketches and drawings. There are books of worship, which go through the virtues of Shah. There's poetry to Shah. There's some of the art is just pages that have been scribbled across, like someone's just taken a bit of charcoal and just until the page is as black as it can be.
So I think what Balthazar is trying to get a sense of how the library is organized, just so he can figure out which direction to go to.
So I think what we're going to ask for you here is it's going to be a bit of a weird one. I'm going to ask you for a survival check.
Sure. Okay. Can I use guidance myself, please?
Mm-hmm.
Plus 1d4, normal. Yeah, boy.
Ooh.
So,
6.
you go to cast, and like your staff illuminates. Well, it's already illuminated, but you feel the divine energy kind of coursing from your staff into you. And what you notice, like oddly, like you stand there and you can feel it. You can feel the magic happening. It just feels like it's happening slower. And normally, if light took you 6 seconds, give or take, to cast, it takes like 18. Feels like it's like 3 times as slow. Like it's not a case that it feels like the batteries are running out. But like it's not like it's just not working. It's just it's noticeably just happening much slower. But eventually you cast guidance, and then looking around, you just feel suddenly at home as you just have a sense that how something like this would be organized.
Okay.
And you have a feeling that like you start to see symbols which kind of refer to various topics and whatnot. So specifically, what is it that you're looking for?
At the moment, not something. He'll just keep tabs on what like the main subjects are. If it's like poetry and journals, probably not interesting. But if it starts looking like specifically magic or spellcasting, magical spellcasting, he'll have a look out for that.
Sure. Okie dokie. And yeah, Zumbo, you have walked up to a statue, and if you've played Skyrim, they look very much like the Greybeards. So big, heavy cloaks that cover their faces. So it's effectively this old. You assume it's an old bearded man. The hood covers the face. The face is in darkness. The arms are out. The arms are out in a almost like it wants to give you a hug. You get the willies standing in front of it. You feel a bit creepy. It feels a bit creepy. And Katya, with your passive perception, as you look over, you get a sense of deja vu, seeing this statue that Zumbo's looking at.
Okay. See, again, I'm assuming at this point this is one from the time I read Renna's mind.
Yeah, but no. So the design of it, like the style of it, is the same. But when you look at it, you recognize it, but you don't feel like you remember it, if that makes sense. Like you feel like you've seen this before, but you're not. Something's not quite right.
Okay.
Through, as you're kind of off studying various bits of the vault, you hear a voice shout out, "Hello, low, low, low," and you all turn around to see Ameline.
Oh no.
looking up at the ceiling.
PC Ameline is even more disruptive than PC Ameline.
And so I didn't realise he was invisible. But yeah, Garabrail, you hear him say, "Are you for real?" And yeah, Ameline just kind of skips off into the darkness. You see her disappear and go, like she disappears into the darkness, and then you just hear, "Oh, it's really dark." And then you hear like a few bumps and knocks as she starts walking into things. Oh no, oh.
I genuinely am waiting for her to cast Moonbeam.
Just to light her way. My goodness.
Burning manuscripts as it moves. Yeah.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
So yeah, let's go back round. Let's go bottom to top. So Matt, what's Zumbo doing now?
So just quickly with the statue, then didn't appear to be any sort of mechanisms that you could jiggle with, or any like switches on it, or anything like that.
You give it a good look over, and the only thing you notice is around the base of the statue, there appears to be an inscription. And it's in. It would be in common. No, it would be in common. So you see an inscription that says, "Blessed Night Singer, witness our adoration. See how we serve you, only you. We have emptied our hearts of falsehoods. We have vanquished your foes."
Okay. Don't suppose that means anything to me, does it? Particularly?
There it is. Oh, Aidan said that. Right, so looking at it, you just, well, I'll tell you what. Let's find out if that means anything to you.
Okay. Oh, 19.
Oh,
everyone's getting a crit tonight.
Nice.
Okay, so you think back to a time where during your pirating days you came across Sharran worshippers, and you overheard one of them chanting this over and over again, and you realize it was part of a prayer
So there's more to it than just what's written here.
There appears to be. And looking behind you at the other statue that Katya and Balthazar are by, you notice that there's also an inscription at the feet of the statue there.
Okay. So if I walked over to that, would it be the other part of the prayer?
Just kind of squeeze it past Katya. You see, in darkness, we see your truth. Embrace us, your loyal warriors. Cloak us in your shadow. Guide us to your victory. Shar's will shall be done, as sure as night will fall.
I don't like this.
He'll say to Katya, I know this is a bit...
Oh, Zumba said that.
Yeah, I'm reading it out loud and under my breath, kind of as... Katya, I don't know, do you reckon we need to, like, say these words? Maybe it's like some sort of hidden code or something. If we say it out loud, maybe, I don't know, the temple will hear us and...
I think they're more a prayer to Shar. We probably don't want to say them with any conviction, if you are to say them.
Right. So you don't reckon, like, we could just say it and not really mean it and, I don't know, a door will open or something?
I probably wouldn't recommend saying it in its entirety, whether we mean it or not.
What about turning the lights off?
I think it would be giving more power to Shar if she is here. She is
Well,
the
what
Lady of
about taking
Darkness.
more of? What
Why
about
don't
taking the darkness away?
Casting more lights could help, but I don't. Maybe it's worth a shot if we have any more light spells. But
Actually, magic people, all of you, is there any? Is there any magic going on at the moment in the temple?
Yeah, I got light.
Apart from what we have brought in with us, obviously.
Oh, good point. I can probably cast the magic. Are we still going in by initiative, Dan?
Oh, sorry, yeah, we're going up from Bob. Okay, so Hiram, as you ask, as you look around, you're asking about magic. Is there anything else that Hiram's doing?
Oh, do I have? I mean, I could cast detect evil and good. See if that helps us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there is.
Evil.
I feel like I don't need a spell for that.
Loud noises!
eyes suddenly burst into flames, like ah.
Nah, I think never mind. It would be a waste. Because yeah, there is definitely something evil in here.
But if it can pinpoint like particular bits, then that's great.
Let me double check if it can. I don't think it does. Well, I can find out if there is anything, and any fiends or undead within 30 feet.
Your divine sense, yeah, if you want to.
Hold on a second.
Thank
Would
those
probably
war
be
wizards. Check them
Quite
out.
helpful.
Actually, yeah. Why didn't the war wizards do that? I don't have any spell slots that I need it for.
No,
You know,
don't trust
smite
them.
reasons.
Do it yourself.
Okay.
That's shady AF.
Yeah. Okay.
So, so yeah, here, what's Hiram thinking?
So yeah, I am going to do detect evil and good.
Okay, so oddly, you sense no aberrations, celestials, elementals, fays, fiends, or undead within 30 feet of you.
It's good to know.
However, what I will say, because I'll slightly roll in your divine sense with this. Yeah, this place isn't nice to be in. There's almost like a clamminess. Okay, Katya.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
You know
What
what?
else
Maybe
would-
Amelin has the right idea. Just wake everything up. So at least it's done.
Yeah, speaking of which, Ameline just la 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 comes skipping through.
I think she does look to. I think she's having a conversation with Zumbo about the inscription. And imagine at first she kind of holds her moon sword closer to the statue to get a better look at it. But then she sort of sweeping the moon sword around the darkness, maybe just sort of wanders off slightly, sort of shining the moon sword, hoping to maybe gauge a reaction from something.
So yeah, the moonlight just seems to fall on these kind of tomes and books. Yeah, it doesn't really.
So okay, then she's just going to start humming the ballad for Selune's Tears. The ballad Selune's Tears.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, you notice that your voice echoes out quite, like your tune, even though you're humming it quietly, echoes out quite loudly.
So where are the other war wizards, by the way? I imagine she gets into this bit. She's now starting to look around for them.
They've been eaten.
They're being
No, okay,
picked
no,
off
that's
one
fine.
by
There's
one
one.
silently.
That's what I
Yeah.
was getting worried about. She does see the other one.
Okay. Badger?
Badger is gonna encourage Garabrail to come with her so she's not alone, and is gonna go off this way.
Why are you? Are you scared of the dark?
So what if I am? Aren't you? Just a little.
And he looks to you and he shakes his head. And yeah, he's giving you like a dismissive look as he follows you around.
Badger wants to look up and say, like, roughly how far up can we see? Because you said that the pillars disappear off.
Like 30
how
feet.
far up? Okay. Badger's got 30 feet. Does it look like she could jump up and like?
You could climb these shelves.
Yeah, she's gonna start climbing a shelf. Why not?
Okay.
Just see what's up there.
So as you climb, you effortlessly manage to skitter up about 40 feet of shelf before you kind of come into contact with a ceiling.
40 foot. Okay.
Just seems like the top 10 feet is just shrouded in darkness, and there are books and parchments and scrolls all the way up. Most of them are in pretty bad condition.
I was gonna say, any good ones?
Yeah, I mean, they all look quite boring and shary, so.
Books all the way up, I'm afraid.
Speaking of books, so is Balthazar just kind of doing a lap, right?
Yeah, but with detect magic.
Okay, cool. So as you start doing a lap of the room, kind of keeping an eye on the various topics, you eventually come across a collection of books that seem to refer to, in inverted commas, like tools or weapons of Shar. And looking at them, when we say Shar, it's like, it doesn't say of Shar specifically, it's just like armaments of old Netheril. And yeah, pretty much around there.
Okay.
And yeah, you find one book as you kind of look through, and you have to kind of reach up to get to like one of the higher shelves.
Mage hand, Dan.
Mage hand, okay. You find a tome.
Yeah.
A tome entitled
How to make friends if you're a Sharran.
Sharran worshipping you.
The Rightful rule of... I'm just going to make sure I spell his name right.
Gabriel.
What a twist.
Again.
The rightful rule of Ayulaum,
Ooh.
champion of Netheril. Champion of the Netherese Empire.
Ooh, him.
See?
Ayulaum, says Balthazar.
Hello. Okay.
And
Start reading through it.
yeah, you find yourself drawn to this book, flicking through it. You find yourself being able to read it relatively quickly, like quite quickly. You're skim reading. Ayulaum was clearly some sort of very, very powerful archwizard in Netheril. He appeared to be a champion of his people. He invented the Mythalar, which is the source of magic that powered a lot of old the Netherese Empire, but also is a source of power that used to hide what used to be contained within Mithranor and other such places. It's like it effectively creates a font of magic. And he designed the flying enclaves that the Netherese Empire were known for, such as Fulfantur, the flying capital, which would eventually end its come to an end, crashing down on top of Mithranor. He was born in minus 3,315 Dale reckoning. So you are 1496, 97. So a long. He was born a long time ago.
Gotcha.
And as you flick through it, you start to see. You see depictions of Ayulaum, and it's very kind of stylized, rectangle shapes. It doesn't look like a person, but you can tell it's a person. The one defining characteristic you notice across all of the illustrations is that he appears to be wearing a black crown, and the other people in the pictures are always depicted as being in positions of supplication. And one final note that you find refers to the black diadem.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. But no magic as far as I'm concerned in the room, right?
No magic apart from like the various light sources and like the wizards wander around and so on and so forth.
I'll just mention I found a book on this guy.
Okay.
And it talks about a black crown. So I'll just tell Gabriel and Badger and whoever's hearing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's for
turn. Okay, so so as you will pot around, Aiden kind of calls out to you all. Is there anything of interest that you found?
The ceiling is 40 feet high.
Yeah. The archiving methods could use some work. I mean, the internet's really not very good. I mean, if I was given a bit of time, I could probably fix it up, but it's going to take so much time, and I need more people. Yeah.
Okay. He kind of nods to you, and sort of like he's looking at you to kind of beckon you all over. And just because there's there are two torch lights nearby, so he puts out his torch because it's a bit redundant with those lights kicking about. And yeah, he Gabriel heads over. Emily heads over.
Can Badger head over but sort of leap from stack to stack so she's about 30 feet above looking down?
The
Yeah.
flying squirrel.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, he looks to you and, like, upon seeing your approach, he kind of looks round and you can see that there's a look of on his face, a look of disgust, like distaste, and this place is horrendous. I don't know what it is about Sharran worship, but it always gives me the creeps. So, sorry, was there anything of interest that you found that might be worth knowing?
Well, these statues seem to say that in darkness we'd find truth. So I don't know, Balthazar. I don't know. You might have been onto something when you said we need to put the lights out.
Yeah. I mean, Sharrans don't like light, so.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, bet he can probably make an ink cloud if that'll help turn this magic lights off.
He looks to you and you think that'll work?
Well, I don't know, but
Let's try.
Sorry, go on, Kaya.
So Katya sort of like sort of thinks over it, and she's like, "No, it particularly sort of says that you need to cloak us in your shadow. So I'm wondering if there must be no light cast upon the two statues. So maybe it's the light source beneath Badger and above Drool that we need to terminate, and then cut out any light to just basically cast those two things in shadows."
Aiden kind of pulls a face. He seems to agree. Well, I suppose, yeah, if we extinguish all the light sources, see what happens. Shar is the goddess of shadow after all.
You could just cover them.
He looks around. You can see like the torches on these on like kind of these walls between you that you're between. Sorry, they appear to be kind of magical fire, like illusionary. If you works like an illusionary fire, so covering it might not work. But they could be extinguished if you so wished.
Katya will begrudgingly sheathe her moon sword.
Oh. Okay.
Badger will happily climb down to extinguish.
How does it get extinguished?
Don't know.
As in, do you mean they can just be blown out like a flame?
Or like, you can like turn down a dial on the side, or like an oil lamp or something.
Yeah.
Well, if you're happy for the magical torches to be deilluminated, the casters among us can start, effectively turning them off via effectively magic, like cantrips type stuff.
Anyone with cleric level have thaumaturgy, because that can turn off all the lights.
Does Balthazar have thaumaturgy?
No.
Okay. Well, either or, you notice the war wizards that they were in light, and then we turn the light source off. So the war wizards, they're kind of loitering on the edge of the light. You see them turn round, and like one by one, the magical lights around the room begin extinguishing. There you go.
Bad idea.
Until at last it's just you and between the two purple torches. And Aiden looks to you and he's kind of got his eyebrows are raised. He puffs his cheeks out. He winces and then and you find yourselves in darkness. And then you hear Aiden say, "Is something supposed to happen?"
Maybe.
Oh.
Oh.
Wait. What are you doing?
Give it a sec.
Dan is clicking a lot.
Dan, what are you doing?
As you all kind of look at each other, like those of you with dark light, night vision can kind of roughly see each other in the darkness. But so Badger, Garabrail, Hiram, as you start to look back around, you notice the wizards are gone.
Yeah.
Curse you, sudden inevitable betrayal.
And you hear Aiden's voice say, "You stepped into her domain. She will feed well.
Dick.
Yeah.
And then in the
Called it.
distance.
Thanks for that.
We will call it there.
Cool.
Yeah, all right, guys. That one's on me. Sorry.
These dodgy guys.
I mean, we knew they were dodgy.
Did we though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We knew, but our characters didn't know.
Oh, the
we
characters are
incited them
completely
and
on
all
board.
sorts. We
Yeah.
read thoughts.
Yeah, we're nice people.
Yeah.
Like, what we're gonna do, like, just stab them, or like, be like, no, we
Yeah,
don't
on the
wanna
other hand,
offend
this is working very well with the ongoing paranoia that we have with everyone we meet.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I was playing a rogue, I would have probably been going around killing the the war wizards because I couldn't trust them.
I mean, at this point, we have ending this goddamn civil war. Just kill all the purple dragons, start our own reign.
Right. Thank you everyone for playing. Congratulations on completing session 17. Another quick shout out to Birdie Maps, whose incredible map we have been using here.
Oh, really?
And this is actually only a small part of the map. So if you like the map that we've been playing on, please consider jumping over onto Birdie Maps Patreon. If you sign up to the £5 tier, you have access to all of the maps that Birdie Maps creates. And yeah, they are fantastic. Yes, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you all next week.
See you
next week.
then.
Bye-bye.
Bye 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 bye. Engulfed in darkness, the Warhounds prepare to fight for their lives as these supposed war wizards reveal their hand. Who knows what horrors lie in the dark? Join us next week to find out. Thank you once again for seeing this through to the end. It really means the world to us. And thank you as well to Birdie Maps, who's continued to be an incredible, generous and supporting person. You can get your hands on their maps over on Patreon. The £5 Dungeon Master tier is the best tier if you also play online like us, and gets you access to watermark-free maps, commercial use, and additional support on their Discord. Please, please, please check them out. The links are down below in the description. If you enjoy watching us play, you might like to hear us talk on our podcast, Tavern Between Dimensions. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and other streaming platforms. For more Cormyr episodes, click here. And to subscribe to the channel, which you should really do, click here. Thank you again for watching or listening, and as always, may the realms endure.